Okay, so I'm just gonna use these twos games as double monk, ironically, because I'm talking about monks this time. To talk a little bit about a couple bugs I found. One is Chi Wave, which I've only seen this once, and I probably queued 200 arena games already on monks. More than that, including like my DK and shit, but at least like 200 arena games on the monks between the two of them. And I've only seen it once, maybe twice. I don't know. I may not have noticed it in a game where it didn't matter. Like for this one, for example, I probably wouldn't necessarily notice the bug in this one. But Chi Wave wasn't bouncing for me. Playing Resto Druid Monk. I'm not quite sure why. I relogged, changed talents, and did that, and it started working again. But it didn't bounce at all. It would only do the first hit, which means I'm missing all of its damage, or 75% of its damage and all of its healing, for example. I threw it once on him directly just to see if it would work correctly when I was trying to heal him, and it only bounced once, which, it is a once out of 200 deal, but it got me. I played with another talent for a couple games because I wasn't sure it was working, then I fought another monk and it was working. So I went back to Chi Wave. But I was playing with other talents, and they actually didn't seem as bad as I remembered. Chi Wave is all sorts of nice, like, don't get me wrong, I still think it's the best talent. Um, but aside from, like, okay, current state of twos, for example, if you're fighting healer DPS versus healer DPS, you Swifty someone and then run away for 14 minutes. For the most part, you obviously Swifty when it comes back up to try to get them lower, especially if you've gotten lower health. But that's the generic state of twos right now. It's very difficult to get a kill, and if you do kill someone, you probably shouldn't have killed them, or they probably shouldn't have been fighting you in the first place, unless you're supposed to. Very few things you're actually supposed to be able to get a kill in healer DPS versus healer DPS. I think warriors, death knights against shamans, and then maybe monks and druids should be the only ones getting kills. But for the most part, I was just looking at other talents, and Chi Burst can hit hard, but it's got a cast time, and it's incredibly difficult to do. Um, the one thing I will say about it is if you're fighting a Mistweaver monk, you can stun him, then time it so it hits as soon as they come out of the thing, and you have your GCD back already. So it is theoretically the most damage you could do to a Mistweaver monk to use that talent with 10 stacks out of a stun in the mischance. But that's pretty random on terms of usefulness, and even then, that's like not really worth it, I don't think. Um, but it is a possibility. That's one of the things you could do for it. It does hit hard. It's just too like ridiculous to actually do it correctly. Um, Other one I was trying was I think it's called Zen Sphere, something like that. Maybe it's Chi Sphere. I don't actually know. Uh, it doesn't heal for anything. It seems like until it explodes, and even then, it's still like one G wave tick on the explode. But it constantly does damage, which was interesting to me because one of the reasons I like Russian G would win so much is it takes the like linear damage or whatever. I don't know if I'm describing that correctly. Um, of just jab, rising sun kick, jab, blackout kick, blah 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 away from monks. So having it tick for 2k or whatever, um, every I think it's like 2 seconds, which is significantly worse than Russian Jade win, but in comparison to Chi Wave, it's you know potentially better in the terms of landing a setups for damage that will come later. Like if you Chi Wave, have Rushing Jade wind up, and then go for oh, I can't think right now. I'm too tired. And then go for like a Chi Wave, Rushing Jade wind, have the Rising Sun Kick debuff, go for a stun, and then go for the Rising Stun Kick again. To like have all the preemptive setup of it up. It's a lot easier to do with Chi Sphere or not Chi Zen Sphere. Yes, it's probably less damage, but especially if you time it with it exploding, it's like it might be on par. Um, it requires more testing. I've done one BG with it, and I haven't looked at the recount yet. I decided I needed to get this done because I felt like I was gonna fall asleep in the last BG, just so I can have this uploaded for you tomorrow as I talk about it. But I am testing some stuff. I think it's a possibility. Um, 9 times out of 10, I would say just take G-Wave. Unless you see it bug out on you and it pisses you off and loses you a game, then maybe debate about it. But it's definitely interesting. I'm curious if it will work. I'm surprised it doesn't scale off haste like Renew would, but it doesn't. Um, I'm also trying out Chi Brew because I'm getting tired of my stacks taking too long to stack up when I was queuing threes. Uh, Granted, I wasn't playing the best comp, so we were just taking like ridiculous amounts of pressure for no reason when I was queuing threes. But all of that aside, I just think there actually might be more options, and I'm just too lazy to change or test all of them myself. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.